Daniel Gallegos, MuleRiderAthletics.com, here with quarterback Barrett Renner following the Muleriders' big 28-24 win in the season opener. And Barrett, redshirt freshman coming in, you kind of knew this was going to be your role as the starting quarterback. First off, how did it feel to get onto the field after a redshirt year last year?
It felt good, knowing that I'd be out there with the guys that have been working so hard with us in the weight room and on the field practicing. So it's a good experience.
In your first start, you go 27 out of 44, 336 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. That was good. Talk about what you did in your first performance.
I got to start off by saying I couldn't do anything without the line. And they were there. They gave me the time to throw the ball, and my receivers were there to catch it. So,
also too, you showed some ability to be elusive. Kind of more of a dual threat quarterback. I know that probably coaches don't want you getting out there, but how much is it impact your game positively that you can scramble when things break down?
I think it helps me out. I think it makes the defense stay on their toes to have to worry about 2 things at once.
Talk us through that big pass play to Jonathan Weisheit to go ahead and eventual game-winning touchdown. It goes 75 yards, 1 play. The momentum was definitely with Southwestern. That turned it on its head.
We just ran a little out and up, and I put it there. He went up and got it, and the rest is history. He made a hell of a play there. So that was all on him right there. I got to give him the credit.
First one under your belt. You guys go to Southwestern Oklahoma. Are you going to let this one sink in and think about him starting tomorrow?
Oh, yes, sir. Ready to get down there and start playing. Get ready to play the second team. Yes, sir.
I appreciate it very much. Again, that's quarterback Barrett Renner. We'll go ahead and we'll bring in Elgin Moore as they turn out the lights a little bit. Elgin, congratulations. A very big game for you defensively. You lead the team, 15 tackles. You were all over the place. Talk about your performance.
Oh, man. We just wanted to finally got a chance to play against somebody else instead of playing against our own team. And it felt good. Come out, just play somebody else. And I felt like that was what I had to do. I just had to be all over the field. I had to make all the plays I could and give it all for the team.
New defensive scheme this year as far as the layout, going with the 4-2-5 setup, some more defensive backs out there. Talk about your role within that system, and obviously it paid dividends with 15 stops.
Yeah, basically I'm practically, with the offense they was running, I was basically backside the whole time and covering the tight end blocked down. I got to go fit the run, so that's basically the main reason why I had all my tackles.
Brand new quarterback for Southwestern Oklahoma, so something new that you guys hadn't seen. He came out there and showed the ability to throw the ball and was starting to maybe expose some things defensively, but you and some of your teammates did a good job on defense and coverage, knocking the ball away. Talk about your preparation going into that, not knowing what to expect out of a quarterback.
Oh, man, not being able to watch too much film on them and being that it was the first game. I think we did a good job preparing for what they was going to do. And they kind of surprised us with the different formations they was coming out with. But we all kept our composure and played like we knew how to play.
We appreciate it very much for your time. Again, Elgin Moore led the team in tackles with 15. We'll go ahead and we'll bring in Davondrick Lison coming on over here. Davondrick, congratulations on the great game. The very last drive, we're only up by 4. There's less than 2 minutes left in the game. You come up with a very big sack that causes a fumble to get the ball back to basically seal the game. Talk about that play.
Since I'm being, the walk-on freshman, I had to make the play. I had to step up. I was tired, but I had to push through it. I just had to, we had the game. I ain't want to give it to them.
One of the things that jumped out to a lot of people up in the press box and probably watching the game, you from a defensive end standpoint, you were tracking down a lot of guys out there once they got past that first line. So talk about, is that something that not necessarily you enjoy, but your ability to go out and make a stop once they get past the line?
Well, I just like to be around the ball. When they take off, I like to be right there with them.
We appreciate it very much for your time. Again, that's Davondrick Lison. You had the big sack fumble that got the Muleriders the ball back and sealed the game again, 28-24 the victory. Davondrick, thank you. And once more with Jonathan Weisheit, we'll close it out here. Running in. That's a little easier run than the 75 yards, huh?
Yeah.
Talk about that play. It's the eventual game-winning touchdown, go-ahead play. Momentum, I was talking with Barrett earlier. The momentum was definitely with Southwestern. What happened there?
We just coaches called a good play. We knew we'd been practicing that play all week. We knew we could get them on it. And I just had a good block by, I think it was Tevin came in. I barely saw him come in inside and took someone out for me. And without him, I wouldn't have been able to make it all the way down there.
There were still a couple guys there. Did you punch it into that 5th and 6th gear? Is the end zone the only thing on your mind at that point?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I just put my head down and went as fast as I could.
You got a brand new quarterback last year. You're in your redshirt sophomore year. Barrett Renner, was there anything as far as the scheme to kind of get him comfortable? Because early on in the first half, it was a little jittery at times. Second half, though, he flourished and really was putting the ball in the right spot.
Yeah, we planned to come out and take it a little slow with him, not take too many chances, just let him get his feet wet, get more comfortable. And he did pretty good in the first half and took the training wheels off the second half and just let him go at it.
We appreciate it very much for your time. Again, that's Jonathan Weisheit, the go-ahead and game-winning touchdown, 75 yards late in the fourth quarter. Jonathan.
Hey guys, Muleriders.com here with head football coach Bill Keopple following a big Week 1 28-24 win over Southwestern Oklahoma. And you look at the series history, Coach, between SAU and Southwestern, haven't been playing each other that many years, but going back to the Great American Conference, but 4 points separate us tonight. That makes it about maybe 13 for the whole series.
13 for the whole series. I mean, that's unbelievable. I mean, they've got a good football team. They play hard-nosed, tough football. They have some talented players out there. They came over here to win. I mean, we've always had difficult times with them. I don't have the answer why they don't sustain the rest of the year, but maybe it'll be their year this year because they look pretty good.
Now they come out with a new quarterback, so there was obviously some unknowns on both sides. But their quarterback obviously showed an ability to throw the ball down the field, and kind of early on, there was some things to expose, but some good plays on defense at the same time and some incompletions. What did you guys do to kind of a game plan to take away the passing game where you started to knock the ball out?
I mean, that's just individual efforts. I mean, any coverage you're in, zone or man, once you get 10 yards down the field, it's turning into man anyhow. And they made two unbelievable catches in the first half of the football game, one-handed catches with our guys draped all over them, and then as the game went on, they just weren't making them. I mean, maybe we were doing a little bit better job of getting our hands in it and stripping it out. I couldn't tell you. I just know tonight, if you were watching this football game, you're glad Quan Warren's back on our football team. I mean, Elgin Moore, he had a huge night in the secondary with tackles. I think he had 15 tonight. That's all conference stuff right there. And Crawford on the other side was very solid. Very solid, gave him fits. And the beauty of it, our defensive line stepped up and got us some nice sacks. We got 3 sacks tonight, and that's a big night for any football team. And, they didn't get out very often on the run. They got us with that one little quarterback keeper off the zone read. But other than that, they didn't have a lot of big runs against us.
Talk about your 2 defensive ends, obviously young on that end, or that part of the line, Davondrick Lison, Kendricks McCann. They came up with a couple of clutch sacks, especially at the end, the sack fumble to get the ball back and basically ice the game for you.
Right. Well, I've been talking about those guys all along since last spring. They gave us fits all spring. They're young, they're redshirt freshmen, but they're mature. They're mature guys, and the ones we had behind them are the same type of guys coming. Kennedy, Washington, Jenkins, Reese. That's 6 guys there that can all play. So that's good for us in an 11 game schedule. So we just expect them to get better and better the more games they get. It's hard to ever tell them on the practice field.
Switching over to the offensive side of the ball, Barrett, Renner, redshirt freshman quarterback. You were going to throw a redshirt freshman quarterback out there regardless of who it was. It was Barrett, left-handed 6'3" guy. You talked about him, his ability to escape. We saw some of that. But in the first half, we could kind of see a little bit of maybe some nerves, some underthrows and things like that. But what changed from halftime into the second half? Because he was a different passer.
At the first of the game, he was kind of trying to guide it looked like. He wasn't throwing it with the same zip we've seen on the practice field. Just talking to him, trying to keep him calm, trying to put him into situations as you play call that makes it a little bit easier and cleaner for him. And Coach Kepp did a nice job with that with him, and we got a nice receiving core. We had guys open a lot tonight, and he was able to hit it. That's just a little taste of what you're going to see out of him the rest of his career. He threw for 61% tonight, and we had, I know off the top of my head, I can think of 3 drops that were very catchable balls. So, there's a lot of upside with him as we go. And you're sitting there with a guy that right there with him with Omari Jones. They're both very similar, very similar. Barrett got the nod just on some knowledge in some things and decision making that he's been making on the practice field. So we're fortunate to have 2 like that on our football team.
The game-changing play, because it wound up being the game-winning play, the big 75-yard touchdown from Renner to Weisheit. They described it as just an out and up, and Weisheit went up and got it. I think Southwestern was trying to position themselves for the interception. Weisheit caught it, made a couple of guys miss, and so talk about that play, because all the momentum at that time seemed to be with Southwestern.
Yeah, I mean, it's a play I've used. I mean, I can go all the way back to 1991. We used the same play, a little out and up with a clear, but we've added a little dig to it on the outside receiver and a clear on the inside, and the corner bites on it, and we were able to he laid it in there nicely, and they had to go up and get it. But man, I mean, Weisheit, he's fun to watch. I mean, you look at the guy and you go, how are you doing what you're doing? I mean, just to look at him, because he doesn't look like he would be an athlete, but he is. He's a great athlete. He's got great ball skills, and he can run. He made huge plays for us tonight. He's a game changer for us, and a guy caught 33 balls last year, and that's going to have another big year, it looks like.
Looking ahead, Northwestern Oklahoma next week, obviously got to make the long trek up to Alva. But in week 1, they played on Thursday at Monticello.
Yeah.
They were down 17-0, wound up putting a bunch of points unanswered and winning kind of big, scoring over 50 points there. So I don't know how much there is to take away from week 1, much the same from us to take away from week 1, but is there anything you guys are maybe starting to think about with Northwestern now that this game is sort of behind?
Oh, we'll be thinking about them hard. I mean, starting tomorrow. I mean, we know a lot about them to a certain extent. A lot of the same personnel we've played here before. They're a different team. A new head coach that's brought a new excitement to the program, a new offense to the program, which obviously was clicking on all cylinders against UAM. So we knew that they had talent there, and so that's going to be a tough one. It's tough to make that trip 9 hours up there to Alva. I mean, it's a long way, and to be ready to play, and so it's going to be a big challenge for us to do that. But that's what we're looking at every week for the next 10 weeks. There's one big challenge after another, and that's college football in the landscape we play in. We're playing 11 conference games. That's hard for anybody now, but we'll have the utmost respect for that football team and what they did this last week. It got our attention, no doubt about that.
We appreciate it very much for your time again. Head football coach Bill Keopple. He and his Muleriders Week 1 winners, 28-24 over Southwestern Oklahoma. Coach, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dan.